You know, everyone is looking for love. I always ask myself, why is it so hard to find and why is it so hard to keep? We live in an image driven society with instant gratification. We either swipe to the right, swipe to the left. I often ask myself, how can we discover how we're truly compatible with one person and another if we're depending on social media and not connecting with each other on an emotional level? Years ago, I wrote a book called Dating with a Full Deck. It's an innovative way and creative way to help make authentic connections between someone new and discover early on their a mental and emotional attraction that leads to either a short term or long term relationship. The book was not intended to find love at first sight or create a relationship, but focus more on what a first date really is. It's just having fun. It's a gateway to some helpful conversation, a few laughs, and just learning about the other person. This episode of Talking with Kevin and Son, we are not claiming to be experts on dating. These are two individuals that I wish when I had interviewed the 1,500 people that I had added their stories to that book. Me, I'm kind of like socially awkward when it comes to laying claim and trying to date. So again, I claim to be no expert. But one thing I do like is honest conversation. And my two guests are going to deliver just that. You may not agree with everything that they say, and you don't have to agree. I know every individual, every relationship, and every experience is original to that person at that moment. These two people happen to be, on my end, hilarious. Hopefully, this podcast will bring out that type of personality. The other thing that may happen is that they may shine a little bit of truth that may have some effect on you. And so, if you're defending a position and you're offended by something, guess what? She opened the door, or he opened the door to some facts that you may not acknowledge. Today's conversation is just about two people. Our next guest, I will tell you, they're beautiful people. And today's topic we're sharing, he said, she said. So welcome to another edition to Talking with Kevin and Son. I am your host, your host, Kevin McLemore. Um, this episode is brought to you by RMK Productions and the 10 United Podcast Network. Through the powers of our story, we want to inspire you with our voices. We want to create experiences and perspectives using the framework of teaching, learning, and modeling. Our purpose is very simple: hope. And let me welcome our two guests, Mr. Anthony Jenkins and Ms. Niima B. And the only reason I'm saying B because she has so many consonants and vowels in her name. I do not want to screw this up. Um, how you
Yeah.
guys talk? How you guys doing? Let's talk about he said, she said. How are you doing?
Good, good.
Great,
Thanks for
great,
having us.
great, great.
I,
Thank you for having us.
no problem. Thank you for coming on and being my guest. Like I said, again, we're not experts. These are two people that have found themselves in a situation that they are now together. It may not be ideal how they came together, and their story's original to them, and it only matters to them. And we're just sharing with you because one, again, they're hilarious. So before I go on, Nima, she is a marketing expert. Tell us about a little bit about what you do, real quick, Nima.
So I work as a CFO for a marketing firm, and they specialize in HVAC businesses.
All right, she's a specialist. And Anthony Jenkins. All right, look at him. He looks like a young version of Will Smith coming along. He got. What do you
So,
do, Anthony?
I'm a fitness coach.
He is a fitness coach. He's my competitor. No, he's not. He's my brother from another mother. So, you guys' story is unique on how you came together. I don't know which one wants to start out, but we're going to talk about relationships and how your relationship seems to, at least for me, be a perfect example of what a relationship should be. In my experience of knowing you guys, you laugh more than you cry. You understand and you care about the other person beyond your own personal needs. And I thought it was important for other people to see a relationship that is working and thriving. So, Tony, I so want to ask you this question on how you guys got together, but I know as a man, we're going to screw this up. So Niima.
No, I would say because I am the one that went after him. So I
Wait a
wasn't.
minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Did you say you went after him?
I did go after him. I wanted him. I saw him. I needed him. I went after him, you know. And sometimes I think females get shied away from that because, hey, no, a man has to approach me or a man has to talk to me. It is okay to sometimes go for it. If your heart say go for it, why not? And look at us now.
I see you, but I'm going to be like that nosy neighbor. I need some detail. What do you mean you went after him? Was he walking in the grocery store and you saw him and you pushed his cart over? Did he walk to the park with a little puppy and you said, "I got to pet the puppy," and you know you hated dogs? How did you go?
No.
How did you go after him? Where did you guys first meet? Where did you first see Tony?
It was
Internet.
the so no, it was not. It was kind of the internet, but I was part of this fitness place in Philadelphia, and I was taking their online classes. And all of a sudden, they posted my Habibi, what I call him, as a new coach. And I wanted to go there regardless. And it was July 1st, I remember. So I signed up for the class. I reached out to him. Hey, I'll be in your class. It was no feelings then. I just wanted to let him know, hey, I'll be in your class. Can't wait to expect you, blah, 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 blah. I went to his class and I remember the first round, he got on one knee to help me do a pull-up. And I just knew since then he was the one. So I was like, okay, you are going to be the one. However, let's just correct this. We haven't started dating until a couple months later. So we started talking and things were great. We had good conversations. And then life happened to me where I just had to cut him off for a little bit. But he always been on my mind for a long time. So I was like, once I get everything in order, I'm going to reach out to him. And October, I reached out to him. So July, I met him. We talked for a little bit. August, I cut him off. I reached back out again in October. And we've been inseparable ever since.
Well, let me ask this because I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I've been in this fitness business for over 40 years. And Tony, I don't know how you did it. I've never had one person ever pick me out of a lineup, but I do want to know because for the sake of telling the story and filling in the blanks and true transparency, what do you mean you cut him off? Oh, and she escaped as I asked her the hard question.
I daughter walked in. No, I did not. I cut him off because I had some health scare that happened to me, and I don't think I was prepared. I was also going through a separation from my ex, so just like he was going through a separation, and I felt that I needed to be finished with the past before I can actually invest in being in a relationship, because I knew I liked him. I knew I actually had feelings for him, and we only spoke a couple times, but I wasn't ready to give him everything if I didn't close the other chapter, if that makes sense.
And I understand that, and I respect that. And one of the things that I wrote in my book, Dating with the Full Deck, is you have to be honest with each other. And sometimes people are in a time and space where they're not ready for each other. And sometimes people are so damaged by other relationships, they wouldn't know a good thing if it sat on their face. And sometimes we make decisions based on the relationships because we are limited to options and we settle. And then sometimes we are too much of a coward to get out of a situation when we know that there's something better for us. And the one thing I wrote about my book is that at the end of the day, in picking your partner or picking your mate or creating a relationship, we have a tendency, because of all the books and mine's too, we write books in order to give our opinion, in order to sell books. We create deal breakers that don't apply to every single person because relationships They take work,
A
but
lot
yeah, a lot of work. But the only thing is, at the end of the day, how your relationship came together or how it thrives or survives is solely based on the two of you. And if it works for you, then that's the reason why you guys should have been contributors to Dating with a Full Deck. And that's the reason why the extended version of it, you guys are on this. But Tony, I said again, I'm going to applaud to you. I don't know what I've ever done wrong, but I've been in this business over 40 years. No one's picked me out of a lineup. And I've been pretty successful in this career, and you're starting. Um, how did it make you feel? Did you know that getting on the one knee to assist, to cue, and to set up?
we have that video. We have that on video too. You know that?
Wait a minute, how'd you videotape this?
I was going there for content. I'm a little influencer on Instagram. So I went there for some content and I wanted to get some footage while I was at that specific place. And, so we have it on footage. We really do have it on footage. He got on one knee, like literally one knee as a proposal. Help me with the band. I can pull myself up. Did I pull myself up? No, but he got on one knee.
So Tony, did you know at that point, being the ultimate professional you are, that she was also training for your heart?
I knew she was special. I had no idea that she was gunning for me, but she made that clear afterwards, for sure. But she was the star pupil. She came in early. She came prepared. She was asking questions. She worked hard. So besides that, just her being herself, she actually made me nervous. I don't really get nervous, especially like in a fitness context. So I knew something was special about her.
All right.
And you know what's so funny, Kevin? He still had no clue. I set up a date for us. So I was like, hey, I enjoyed your class. I would like if you can teach me how to have a good pull-up. So we had like a second date. He still had no clue. This man just had no clue. I mean, we sat outside his house for 5 hours, talking, listening to music, having some really deep conversations about our life. And till this day, he told me that he had no clue that I was interested in him.
No idea. I just thought it was awesome conversation, like-minded people getting together.
Boy, I wanted you. It's oblivious.
So, when did it click for you, Tony, that she was going beyond personal training and was looking for personal coaching?
Hey, I love that. That's exactly what I was looking for.
Well, after the second date, she invited me over, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm at her house now. So maybe, just maybe.
This is after I cut him off.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So we had
how long did he go solo without you?
2 months.
2 months and a half.
Oh, that's not cutting him off.
We had a good conversation.
That's taking your Google map and your GP and your Waze and trying to get to the same place at the same time. They take you in two different directions to get you there. That's not cutting him off. Cutting him off would be seeing him a year or two from now. You didn't cut him off. That was a detour.
I detoured him. And then I reached back out and I was like, hey, you want to go over?
And I was like, yup. Came right over.
So what was the first real date after you guys was starting to get back together? What'd you do?
we hung out in the apartment for a while. Ate some sushi. Sushi. That was our thing. We always would get sushi and honey roll.
As much of an introvert we are, as much of an extrovert we may look, we are very introverted people. We like being home. I'm a homebody. He's a homebody. We like doing things so we can keep the focus on us. I do like going out to restaurants and we do all the time. However, I prefer my dates. Like one of my anniversary, I told him that I just wanted all the foods we ate across the years. And I wanted it at home. So, and we enjoy doing our dates at home.
Yeah, we celebrated at home and it was lovely.
Who paid the bill? Who paid the bill for the first date?
I think I grabbed the sushi.
Yeah, he grabbed the sushi on his way.
Yeah.
When it comes to food, he's always handling the food. So I'm a foodie. I
All
work
right.
hard a lot, but I love food. And when it comes to food, he take care of that for me all the
All
time
right. And how long have you guys been together now?
Over a year now.
too.
Yeah, it's almost 2.
All right. What's the best thing about being with her, Anthony?
I just feel so protected and secure in our relationship that like I don't have to guess or wonder about anything when it comes to Niima at all. And to like have that security to know that when I come home, I'm have peace, I have understanding, compassion has just been it's been everything. Like it's been life changing for me. I can focus on things that make me better because I know she has my back so much when I don't feel like I can do things for myself. I know that she's there, she's going to handle it, and I can just be free to do the things that I need to do or want to do because I just know she's there. And she's just the best thing to know I have an actual partner to enjoy things with. Like I don't have to ever worry about being by myself or not having support because I know she's there.
Yeah. And I
Nima, what's
think
the best thing about Tony? Anthony.
Anthony, his patience, because we women are crazy. We get our moments. His patience. He allows me to express my emotions with open arm, with no judgment. It could be stupid sometimes, and it could be annoying, but he stays consistent with his patience with me and his love and just always there. And he just kind of feels what I want without saying it. And I think we learned that throughout the months that this is my wants and this is my needs and this is my non-negotiables and this is my negotiables and things like that. Another thing that makes me feel safe about this relationship is we eliminated leaving each other. No one's getting kicked out. No one's leaving. If you're mad, go sleep on the couch. If I'm mad, I'm going to sleep on the couch. We sleep on the same bed regardless. But if you're upset, go take a moment, go to the couch, for a drive. But there's no such thing as we're leaving each other or we are moving out or leave.
It's non-negotiable.
It's non-negotiable. We will work it out no matter what.
See, you guys are screwing up social media. All the stereotypes and all the things or whatever. I mean, I just read an article.
Right?
Huh?
For being millennials.
Oh, like I said, you're screwing up everything. Women ages from 40 to 50, there's a statistic that said that 70% of the filing for divorce are because of women going through menopause. They don't understand their emotions and they're pressing it on their men and they're abandoning. And you two go into a relationship and says it is not a option in order to be without each other, that you're going to work through a relationship.
Yeah.
And you said that you have some, I don't know if you said deal breakers or whatever the case may be and whatever. And I know we talked about those deal breakers once before openly and we laughed about it. What are some of those non-negotiables you talk about? You said I said deal breakers, you said non-negotiables. What are they?
But before we respond to that, let's touch on the fact that women, menopause and things like that. So
yeah, because I don't know what I'm talking about. Just remember, everyone that's going to come after me, I've never been through menopause.
Let them come after you. We females, we're naturally emotional, right? And I remember in the beginning of our relationship, I told him that the way my month goes is I have winter, spring, summer, and fall. This is how our month goes as females, right? Sometimes I'm sad and I'm cranky and I don't even know myself why I'm sad and cranky. And the fact that I communicated that with him, and I never communicated that with any other relationships, but I learned at this point of my life, I need you to know what I'm feeling or where I'm at in life. So if I didn't communicate that with him, that, hey, some days I'm just like, I don't know. I don't even know myself why I'm cranky. And he allows me to be cranky in my moments. Hey, she's going through her winter time. or here she's in her summertime, which is the spring happiness, you know, whatever it is. But I feel like communication was super important in our relationship and being open about it. I mean, every single detail. But my deal breakers, where's my deal breakers? Let's see. You want to name them for me?
Dishonesty.
Dishonesty. Let's always be honest with each other. I feel like we can solve a lot of issues if we both honest and we bring it up to the table. Loyalty for me is important, very, very important, because I feel like I can give you anything and everything as far as physically, sexually, emotionally. And if I'm lacking, express that to me. So I know what part of my life I can work on. I can be vulnerable and work on it. I don't mind admitting and taking accountability if I'm missing certain parts that you need. Communicate that with me. Hey, babe, I need you to be a little bit more patient with me. I got you. Let me work on that. Hey, babe, I need you to be more sexual with me. Or I like it this way. I like it like a pretzel. I don't know what it is. You know, just say it. So let me work. You know what I mean? Like, just
No, go ahead, say it.
Express that to me. Tell me, baby, this is how I like it. Say less. In order for you to be happy and make me happy, I need to make sure that I satisfy everything you need and want. That way you're not looking elsewhere. Because when do people start looking elsewhere? When they don't get it at home, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's my non-negotiables. I really don't have much.
You have no idea how much you said. You know, there are men right now going, when this gets released, baby, you got to watch this. I can't say it any better, baby. You just got to watch this. Anthony, what are your non-negotiables?
I mean, I think she's hitting most of them. Like one thing we don't leave. We don't call each other out of our names when we're arguing.
That one.
We don't disrespect each other. We don't talk about our business in the street to people. We keep our problems to ourselves. It could be a knockdown, drag out fight. No one will know. If you sit there and saw it happen, you'll know, but we're not going to speak about it and it's going to be fine. And I swear to God, if somebody tries to come in between us, I don't care how mad we are with each other, we will rip that person apart. So those are our non-negotiables, or those are my non-negotiables. Just keeping that air of respect for each other. Like that goes so far, I think. As long as we have that general respect for each other and for our relationship and how we present ourselves to the world, most of the problems don't even factor.
And I think what helps is a lot, Kevin, is our past relationships where we came from a toxic relationship. And when I came into this relationship, I told him, I don't want to be called out of my name. I don't want you to call me a bitch. I don't want to call you a this and that and that. I will never disrespect your manhood. It's non-negotiable, like, period. If I feel certain type of way, I would express it to you in the most respectful way because you deserve to be respected. You're my partner. If I disrespect you, then what am I to you? You know, at this point. Another thing is the outside people. When you involve your friends and then your family and everyone wants to know your business, every single person would have an opinion. And no matter how flat the pancake is, there's always two sides of it. I'd rather keep our side and let's talk it out. Let's figure it out together with our own heads, our own opinions, and our own circumstances, rather than hearing my friend opinion and then I hear my mom opinion and then my cousin opinion. And then I come back to him. I'm like, you're actually right. You should have done this and that and that and that, but you didn't do it. I'd rather solve it together. And so that's another thing. We don't share our business when we argue to anyone, whether we argue happy or successful. Our business is our business, stays home. It's a circle, me and him. So.
You know, I'm so glad I wrote my book before I met you, because you guys would probably had written my book for me in a bestseller, because what you say makes sense. And we learn from experiences. And sometimes we have to experience hardship in order to be able to understand our own heart. And it seems like you guys have come to a good place. You know, I was hoping that you guys were going to list all these deal breakers so I can just basically tell you. And I won't tell you two because we've had this conversation in real time, is that 90% of the people that have these deal breakers, if I explain to you a scenario, you'll find out that your deal breakers are BS. And the other 10%, and normally when I speak, I normally break it down to 1%, is that one person or that 1% of people, or 10%, because there's 80 billion people on the planet, are people, no matter how much they had conversations or the relationship looked like yours, like the two of you, is that they are so toxic. They are not open to learning from past relationships, being open and honest about their relationships, or understanding that disrespecting a partner and not validating their partner's needs, their wants, or the conversation they're having, because we are so easily to be offended. We're always upset about something. And the fact that understanding that no one else's opinion about your relationship matters, because at the end of the day, the sun rises and the sun set on the two of you guys. And whatever the temperature is and whatever the season it is, it doesn't matter, because you guys celebrate each season. And
We do, and
so
it's important.
I was so hoping to go ahead and talk about my little tropical island story and whatever, but that would just put me out of work when I start speaking publicly, because everyone would know it. Damn, he said that already. But you
No,
hit on a lot of points. But there's still conversation out there, especially amongst the Black community, which our European sisters and brothers have inherited the conversation. I don't know why they keep following us. They follow our fashion, our communication, and everything else, but don't understand it. I hear conversation, and Nima, because I don't understand it. Um, Women that are not emotionally intelligent are looking for an emotionally intelligent man. I don't understand that conversation. What is that?
that's something within them. They haven't put the work in. You don't need to feel validated. I'm happy by myself. I always tell them, what is our favorite song? Uh, um, I'm better by myself, but we're together. I'm okay being by myself. I am happy being by myself. I put the work in. I spent some alone time. I did some digging. I'm emotionally stable enough to be able to not only provide him with emotional support, but also be okay not having it when he can't provide it for me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So a lot of females nowadays, they want to feel validated. We have friends in our circle where I need him to text me every day. I need him to tell me I'm beautiful. He didn't tell me I'm beautiful today. Don't take me wrong. I have my moments, but it's not constant, you know? So a lot of females need to put that work in. As soon as you leave a relationship, you can't just jump into another one because you feel like you're ready, or because you want a partner. I always feel like take that time, spend time with yourself, see what you want, what your needs, what your non-negotiables, what your red flags are. And I'm talking about some reasonable, not, oh, I need him to be 6 foot, making $1 million, and he can't have kids, he can't have this, he needs to have this occupation. I'm talking about something that you can be with this person for the long run. Furthermore, make sure you validate your own self. Don't expect a man to validate you. Make sure that you are happy within yourself, because he also needs to be happy within himself. Because imagine two non-emotional people coming together trying to get the validation from each other. That's just toxicity. So that's where I stand as far as that part.
Tony, I hear this all the time, and you guys know me. I come from a Southern upbringing. I open up doors for women, not mine, just all women. I pull out the chair for women, all women. Um, I have not pulled out a chair for anyone that identifies any different. That's a learning curve that I need to adjust, but um, I'll deal with that situation when it arises. But Tony, I hear this all the time. Um, Strong, independent woman. What does that mean to you? How do you interpret that when a woman says, "I don't want you to do this. I don't want to do that. I'm a strong, independent woman."
Sometimes it depends on who it's coming from for real, and like what in their background is making them say that. And maybe someone trying to like compensate for a feeling of like they don't feel like someone's going to help them do it, or they don't can't trust or rely on someone to be there. to do it for them. They may just prefer doing it themselves. So I try to learn the person more before I like try to put how I feel about it, or my logic behind why they may be that way. Yeah, so I think it's situational, really. But as far as the contemporary sense of like just a certain type of woman being like, no, I can do it all by myself. I'm an independent woman. I can do blah, blah, blah. I feel like they're trying to encompass the male and the female role all themselves. And not speaking about all women, but ones that I have run into, I feel like they're trying to do everything and be both sides of the coin, when that's just not how nature is kind of set up. Like you can do a lot of things by yourself for a long time, but at a certain point, like you're gonna get burnt out or not really deliver to your full capabilities. So when someone is like that, I hope and pray that they can meet someone that will make them feel secure enough to like actually rely on them, where they feel like they could trust and have them there to pick up that slack. Because without it, like it's not a good existence. Even for me, like trying to do like as a single father, like trying to provide everything for my daughter is a certain type of way. It's like I can do a lot, but I can't do it all, and I can't do it forever. Like I need that counterpart, and like that's just real. That's just how we're set up as nature. Like we're one half of the whole in a relationship. So when people feel like they can do everything and be this independent person, good luck to them. But I mean, they're gonna have a rough ride.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why I asked that question, because I don't want to offend anyone, but I'm going to offend someone. So I'm going to say it anyway, because that's just the way I roll. Most strong independent women, when I hear the conversation, they're all on active dating sites, swiping left and swiping right. And they are independent of love, independent from relationship, independent from stability, independent from emotional connection, independent from
Screaming for
validation, independent from their spirituality, and independent from a partner on the other side of the pillow, even if it just means independent for now. So, I'm glad that you said that, and because I was going to ask Niima the same question, but I know it's going to turn into another hour show. But Niima, relationships. We all have unaddressed trauma from past relationships, be it family members, life itself. How do you not let that be an issue in the relationship with you and Tony? I keep wanting to address you as Tony Anthony, because I have a brother named Anthony. We call him Tony.
Okay.
One, I always keep talking about putting that work in. If I didn't put that work in, I'll continue to blame Anthony for what my ex has done, right? It has nothing to do with him. He's not that person. They're not the same. But if I brought that trauma into our relationship, I would have some trust issues. I would have some insecurities. But he hasn't showed me that. So why should I blame him? So it is important to just try to do that healing. You have to heal from your trauma before jumping into another relationship. A lot of people are in the dating site 24 hours after they separate or 24 hours after they divorce. Give yourself a chance to get over the trauma of your ex or whatever happened, and analyze it and see what could you do better? Take the accountability on your side. I always take the accountability on my previous relationship because I played part in it. So yeah, I can't bring that into the relationship at all. And I had to take the time and the patience to learn me again and learn my ones before I bring it into the next relationship.
I thank you for that share. I had a conversation, and I have these conversations daily, weekly, hourly. Sometimes I get woken up to these conversations. There are a lot of questions and very few answers. And when I talk to people, I try to get them to answer their own question, but I do poke a little bit. A lot of women don't realize that when women are telling men that they're not men and this is how they have to be a man, or what their responsibilities are. Um, I found this quote that says that I'd rather adjust to a life with your absence than to adjust to the boundaries of your disrespect. He says,
Mm.
what you tolerate is what you validate. When a man feels unappreciated, disrespected, or emasculated or abused, he makes decisions that are not popular to people in public or to that relationship. But then he is labeled a coward, a cat, player, or whatever the case may be. Um, does it take away anything from you um, respecting your man? And how important is respect to you, Anthony? I'm going to ask you first, and then I'll ask the latter part of the question to Niima. How important is respect of your woman to you?
Oh, it's everything. You know, like what just basic human respect. That's what you give to a stranger out on the street. So if you have a partner, somebody you're sharing your bed with, your life with, all this time with, and then respect isn't there, like the basic thing you're supposed to have when interacting with anyone, what do you really have? Like nothing else can really even be functionally sound without respect being the foundation of it.
Now, I respect his decisions. We talk about things. I respect his moves. I respect his career. I respect him as a person. I just do. And I feel like it's important for him as a man to receive that respect from his woman. Doesn't matter. You remember the strong, independent woman?
Mhm.
Doesn't matter what you do outside of the house. And I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter. Once you're in the house, I'm in my feminine energy, and it's my job as the nurturer and the female to allow my man to be in his masculine energy. And a lot of times it starts with respect, appreciation, a lot of loving, and all the good stuff, you know? But it's really important. Like I feel like at home, even like when he does the dishes, like yesterday, I was so tired because the girls tore the house up. Guess who got up and cleaned the entire house? People would say that's a female job, right? To do it. But he did it.
I clean dishes every day.
He cleans. And I'm like, that makes me see him even more masculine than ever. So it means a lot. He took the burden out of my shoulder, which allows me again get back into my feminine energy to love on him and give him any and everything he wants, emotionally, physically.
Nima, you're going to confuse a lot of women for the simple fact that you were speaking a language that is taught on a master degree level, that most women are still not gotten to the secondary education level when it comes to emotional intelligence and not responsibilities, but being a partner in a relationship.
Mhm.
You know, it's either or. We're keeping a scale, a scoreboard of saying what he does for me. If he does this for me, this is what I'm doing for him. And if he doesn't do it for me, then I'm
Mhm.
not doing it for him.
Mhm.
And man, we kind of keep a score tab too. But the only difference is we don't carry the hard drive around the way that our female counterparts do in order to upload when necessary when we're trying to deload a conversation. um, you're being rewarded for a conversation or efforts that you're not even asking because you do it because you care. Am I right?
I do it because I love him. I do it because he is patient with me. I do it. This is the thing that's going on with our generation nowadays. As a female, a woman, they expect a man to do everything. I mean, when I'm talking about like the cheesecake. Do you remember the conversation about the Cheesecake Factory that we
Yeah,
were
I
talking
remember.
about?
But you,
I
but our audience doesn't know the conversation, so you got to talk about the
Yeah.
conversation.
So this girl was on TikTok and she
Mhm.
was upset because she went to the guy took her to Cheesecake
For the
Factory
first date.
for the first date. Keep in mind, this is their first interaction, first date, and she felt that she's worth more. However, in a what does they call it?
Progressive.
And not an aggression. It's like a tit for tat. You don't have to wait for the man to do for you in order for you to do for him if you actually cared for him. If you cared for him enough to go on a date with him, you don't have to see, he doesn't have to take you to a steakhouse. Allow him to just show you who he is first, show him who you are, and you guys can meet in the middle. I don't think there's anything that Anthony wouldn't do for me. I mean, I wouldn't take that for granted, but I know that if I tell him I want something, he's going to make it happen. In the beginning of the relationship, he wouldn't have made it happen without me showing him that I love him and I care for him for who he is, not for his money, not for his occupation, not nothing else. That dating nowadays is just literally blows my mind. Like, seriously, females have high expectation, entitlement of men has to do this and that and that and that in order for me to come and lay up with him. No, mama. You have to do something too. You know, it's two people. It's not just one. If you guys are supposed to be partners, you have to do something in order for him to do something, and vice versa. I mean, next year, man will be like, I hope this girl gives me $10,000 before I take her out on a date. Imagine that. It just sounds ridiculous, right? So just like a girl, you can't take me out unless you take me to a steakhouse. You sound so stupid. Go sit down.
I always said, and because of my position, I always say that don't ask me for something you can't provide for yourself. And
Right?
most people will disagree with that. So when you hear this, Anthony, when you hear the phrase "happy wife, happy life," I hear it translates something to me totally different. One, I put on my sneakers and I start to run. But that's just me. How does it translate to you? Because selfishness does not say the same thing in a relationship about being selfless. How does that translate to you?
See, like you said, it makes you want to put on your sneakers and run. I think it has a lot to do with the person you're dealing with, because like at a certain point, if it's happy wife, happy life, and you're just disregarding your own feelings and how you how y'all are actually getting along just to make one person happy, that's not fair. That's a one-sided relationship, and that's not cool either way. It was happy husband, happy life, and just the husband had to be happy in order to make the wife happy. Like, that's not fair. Like, that's just not how things work. Now, when you're dealing with someone that is completely compassionate and selfless like Niima, I'm gonna do everything in my power to make her happy, because I know she's already delivering that to me. So no matter what, I know my life is going to be better the happier she is, because like when she's in a good space, I'm in a good space. When she's not feeling right, I legitimately don't feel right. So when it's actually a partnership, a healthy relationship, I think that's absolutely true. Happy wife, happy life. Because when she's off, I'm definitely off. I'm like, what's going on? I see like your tone, like something's going on. I want to know what it is so I can fix it. Like, even if it's something that I'm upset about, I know that she's the love of my life, and no matter what the outcome is, that I'm gonna love her, I'm gonna forgive her, I'm whatever, to get to the point of let's get back together and be on the right page. So whatever has to happen in order for that to happen, I'm gonna do that. So happy wife, happy life with a sane, sound mind, sober individual. Yes, it makes sense. But if you're dealing with
And I would
like,
never take advantage of that. You see all the things he said, I would
Yeah.
never take that to my advantage. You know, as a female, knowing that he could do anything for me, I could just
she
go
could
on and
just,
on and
yeah.
take advantage of it. And I'll always tell him I will never ever take advantage of your vulnerability and the fact that you trust me and love me and always there for me.
And she never does. So like, for me, happy wife, happy life. For the greater majority, I don't know. I couldn't speak to that,
This
but
independent woman.
yeah, the independent women, I don't know.
So I say for me, happy home makes me want to come home and makes me want to stay home. And when you have someone like you that respects you and loves you on whatever level or whatever season it may be, and that be male or female, it doesn't give you any reason to vacation at anyone else's resort, no matter how high or how wonderful the attraction is or how free the ride may be. You rather stay home and maintain whatever you have, because we're all going to go through a season in life. We're gonna be fit and fabulous the way that you guys are right now in your current state. One day there's going to be an extra pound or two. There's going to be, I would say, some hair loss there, but you're already bald.
Already there, see?
There's going to be a couple teeth that weren't there that were there 30 years ago that won't be there. Sometimes be like my uncle Ted. His teeth may be in the glass, and you love him no matter
I
what
would
time
love
of
him no
season
matter
it would
what.
be.
I will
Now,
always.
I know that we've got to wrap up real quick. I'm going to ask a question, and this is a statement too. So I wanted to find out how this lands on you because I want people to think about it. I've always been taught by my grandparents that love is voluntary. The decision to stay in love is a decision. Agree or disagree?
I disagree. I'm in love. I can't help it. Stay in love. I know it's work that has to be done to keep the fire alive, but yeah, I found my person. Like,
No, I feel like I agree with you, Kevin, for simple reasons. Is let's say I stop giving him sex. What happens then? What are you gonna
Cable,
do?
your streaming service goes up.
Yeah. We say man need it, you don't want it. So you still
Well,
have to work toward it.
I,
Um,
I'm gonna tell you that believe it or not, when you look at perspectives, interpretation, what I said, you both agree to it because I learned this from having a child. From the moment that child comes into the world, you love that child no matter what decision or whatever he makes. It pees and poops and destroys things his whole life. The decision to stay in love, to work out, to overcome, to understand, to sacrifice, to go through all the seasons and whatever, that's what a relationship takes. It takes work. The reason why divorce rates are so high today is because no one's willing to do the work. And remember, I explained to you being on that little island. If you happen to be stuck with someone that you despise, that you could not tolerate, that had a whole list of your deal breakers, and you know that you never could be saved on the island, I will promise you that when 97.6 joins at 97.6 and it's 30 degrees outside, you're a lot warmer together than you are apart. 3 days after you realize that you're not going to be rescued, you hadn't eaten, and that person that you can't despise, that you despise, is gathering food and shelter. Sooner or later, you'll see that you get hungry. No matter he doesn't or she doesn't have to be a world-class cook, but every meal will taste like a five-star restaurant served meal. And for a man or woman that would not validate or communicate when you have no other option, because I'm a man itself, and I said a man is only limited or is true and committed to his options. So if a man says that you are his only option, women, I'm going to tell you, strap that man in because that ride is going to be beautiful, like Tony. When he got down on one knee and he went to adjust her, we call it a cue in our business. And Nima, she looked at Tony, and I will tell you, every man, we don't pick one single woman. Each woman picks us. We just kind of go along with the program. And if we're connected with our hearts and we're connected to her heart, they cannot be separated by anyone. So I hope that you guys have learned from this podcast, this interview, of what he said and what she said. And I'm hoping that you're open to learning, to improving your relationship as where it is, not to where the internet or social media says it should be. Stop looking at everyone else's garden. Turn the soil and plant your own seeds and watch what grows. So with that said, I want to thank both of you guys for being my guests. I'm hoping that you guys will come back. I hope I can talk you into having your own podcast under RMK Productions Network. Hopefully the people that are watching this, if you like what you've heard, go to RMK Productions and Networks on our YouTube page, like and subscribe. Matter of fact, put a comment in that you would like Tony, Anthony and Niima to have their own show on our network. He said, she says, in order to talk about this relationship and maybe give you some advice. And if you ever want to be a guest on this podcast, go to info@rmkproductions.net. Productions.org. Fill in the information. I'll be more than happy to share your story. Again, I want to thank both of you guys, Anthony and Niima, for being special guests and being just good people. You know, I love you. You know, you guys are friends. And you can always tell a couple that wants to be together is they can't stop touching each other. That's what love is. You guys remind. I learned this. I learned this from my grandparents. People that want to be together don't want to be apart, and at some point, they're always in contact with someone. So that's true love. And the fact that Niima, you gave some great advice. If you have issues, you two work them out. Don't bring anyone else into your business. If you have problems, don't wake up the following morning with the same attitude you went to bed. Resolve your problems. And there is no hurdle that can't be climbed, overturned, removed if you really love and respect your partner. So with that said, my grandfather always said, when you get to a point in life that you can help someone else out, it is your duty to do so. Reach one, teach one, and we'll fade to black, and we're out. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.